2, 3. I could stop it.
3, 2, 1, go. According to an article written by Simon Kemp, a chief analyst at the Data Repository, published by the NextWeb, a website that specializes in all things technology, on January 30th, 2020, he states the number of social media users has passed the 3.8 billion mark. With a quick Google search, we know that there are currently 7.8 billion people in the world. That means almost half of the world uses social media. The reason I am a credible source is due to all the research I have done on this topic, with articles written by names like Ben Gilbert, a senior correspondent with a BA in magazine journalism from Temple University. With social media users being at an all-time high, you need to be informed of what these social media platforms are doing in order to keep your attention. Even if you choose not to use social media, you may know people who this information will be important to. The Federal Communication Commission should regulate social media platforms in order to keep our information private. First, I will talk about how social media platforms are stealing your information in order to make their platforms more addictive. Then I will talk about why this is a problem. Lastly, I will go over how we can fix this issue. Without further ado, let's move to the first point. First, I will explain how these social media companies are stealing your information. It is too easy for these social media websites to collect our data and then sell it to the highest bidder because there is no data protection of any sort. Due to the collection of our information being too easy to access, it allows third-party companies to come by data from Facebook and other social media platforms. According to BBC News, in their January 2019 article about Cambridge Analytica being fined over data, the company had anywhere from 4,000 to 5,000 data points on each voter. According to the Business Insider, in the August 23rd, 2019 article about Cambridge Analytica, Alexandra Moss states the data came from a personality quiz, which around 270,000 people were paid to take. The quiz, This Is Your Digital Life, pulled data from the Friends as well, ending in an enormous data stash. Everyone that took the survey now has 4,000 to 5,000 data points attached to their name. In the same 2019 article, Christopher Wiley is quoted, "We exploited Facebook to harvest millions of people's profiles and built models to exploit what we knew about them and target their inner demons." Christopher Wiley is one of the primary data consultants who worked at Cambridge Analytica, one of the companies that bought information from Facebook on its users. He was one of his first colleagues to come forward and admit to what his company was doing was wrong. According to Sierra Wake in her 2017 article, by using the location services provided by your device, media platforms can know where you are at all times. By using your device's location data, different media platforms can market cafes, stores, and even tell you if your friends are in the area. Not only are the social media platforms watching whether they aren't being used, they are also tracking your location. With this information, they can tell where 3.8 billion people have been today. This should not go on any longer. Social media sites are using other tactics rather than just using what happens on their platform in order to get as much information on the user as possible. TikTok is a viral Chinese video sharing social networking service with 800 million active users worldwide. It recently has been under a lot of fire due to the fact it recently has been under a lot of it recently has been under fire lately, with almost getting banned in the United States. Someone by the Reddit username Bangerlo made a Reddit post about TikTok and claimed he reverse engineered that. He talks about what it is doing that is so bad. The information it takes from your phone is the IP address, your Wi-Fi, and gives off a 30-second GPS ping. That this is an invasion of our privacy and should not be allowed to continue. TikTok doesn't even ask its users for this information. They just take it from their user's phone and store it in their libraries. No other app that has been reverse engineered has been this bad. Other platforms do get information, but TikTok also takes contact information. To put it into perspective, in his post he states, other social media apps don't collect anywhere near the same amount of data that TikTok does. It's like comparing a cup of water to the ocean. There are numerous reasons why you should delete TikTok. One of the biggest reasons is security. As I said before, they are trying to take your information for their own use. Another big reason are the dangerous challenges like the penny challenge. The penny challenge is you drop a penny between a phone charger and a wall outlet. This challenge alone has been the source of many fires. Now I'll explain why taking our information is so bad and how it affects the user's mental health. Some ways addiction to social media is affecting mental health. Our brains are tricking the users into showing signs of depression and anxiety. Due to seeing the fake persona the user sees from other people living a perfect life, their brains trick themselves into comparing their normal lives into someone's social media page. Another fear is being left out. Everyone wants to be included. For instance, if there was a party and a user was to see it being posted everywhere, the user would start to feel bad and start to feel anxious about the situation because the user feels as if the people at the party are having fun without the user because the user wasn't invited. Signs that you or a loved one are hooked on social media. The user loses interest in family and friends with social media taking up so much of their time. They don't want to hang out with the loved ones or the people that care about them due to the social media websites. They rather stay isolated and alone in their rooms. The users also feel stress due to their life lacking. This is due to others putting on a persona to make their life seem better than others. This makes the viewers see this and feel envious towards that person, which can lead to pushing schoolwork or regular work to the side to keep up with the trends. It is not 100% your fault if you are addicted to social media. Most of these apps are constructed in order to be addicting. The unpredictability of social media apps is the reasoning for it being so addictive. It is purposely designed this way in order to keep users on the platform. Social media apps are designed just like slot machines. They all use this. They use the same pull down logic for a new role or new content. On Instagram, when you get to the top, when you're at the top of the page, you have to pull down to refresh. This gives off the illusion that you as the user are in control, which in fact is false. These social media platforms are already lining up new posts for you to see. Social media platforms use psychological methods in order to keep your attention on their platform. The brain receives a rush of dopamine which causes the user to feel pleasure. Therefore, the brain reconstructs itself into tricking people into needing likes, retweets, and emojis. When people talk about themselves, they they people talk about themselves approximately 30 to 40% of the time. However, social media is supposed to be just about the users and their life. This changes the numbers of the users talking about themselves to 80%, which stimulates the brain to release more dopamine, which the brain then tricks itself into a false reward system. Lastly, how we can help those addicted. Ways to ways we can help our loved ones who suffer from this addiction. Some ways that notifications can make social media less addictive. According to Tristan Harris, a former Google design enthusiast, ethicist, in a 2020 interview, when asked about notifications, he says, first things people can do is shut off notifications because the social media platforms are trying to invent reasons for you to come back to their platform. In another interview with Vox, Tristan Harris says, if notifications were released in bundles at set times, it would reduce the amount of time the user spends on the platform. The bundling of notifications would be better than what we currently are dealing with, as our phones are programmed to make a sound, beep, or flash every time we get a notification. In the same interview with Vox, Tristan goes over more easy tricks that you can do on your phone in order to make social media less addictive. One of the quick tricks is to turn your phone's colors into grayscale. The human eye is naturally drawn towards the color red. This is why your notifications pop up as red. Grayscale totally negates the platform's efforts to get your attention. The last trick he goes over is to restrict your home screen to everyday tools. What he means by this is the essentials: maps, calendars, Lyft, or Uber. What you want to avoid is the infinite scrolling apps because there is no end to the infinite scroll. He'd rather you use pages because there is an ending. In conclusion, here are some of the points I went over. First, I talked about how social media platforms are stealing your information. Then I talked about why this is a problem. Lastly, I went over how we can fix this issue. The Federal Communication Commission should regulate social media platforms in order to keep our information private. With the information provided today, you should be able to make better decisions on how you use your social media. Thank you.